for my latest experiment. This is a big one, the one I've been waiting for all my life.
What is it?
Try to imagine all life as you know it stopping instantaneously and every molecule in your body exploding at the speed of light.
Oh my God.
The cream will rise to the top, oh yeah.
And I am the voice of the voiceless.
And there is no one that does it better.
The Guy and Harley podcast, reading all over your face.
Perhaps that was the most important part.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
Pigville on the internet.
If you fuck with winning, put your lighters to the sky. How could I make sense when I've got millions on my mind? I'm Harley Neville. Welcome along to the Guy and Harley podcast.
Was someone say who's that?
That was my homie Post Malone.
Oh right, of course.
Who I'm very inspired by lately because he's 23 and a millionaire.
That wouldn't inspire you.
Why? It inspires me to see that you can do it in a couple of years. You know, like a couple of years ago he was nobody, and now he's a millionaire.
It's also possible that in a couple of years he'll be nobody again.
Well, it's possible, but he'll still be a millionaire, probably, unless he really sort of fucks up.
I know, at that age, you really think you're managing your money well?
Well, it's really hard to say. You know, I mean, I reckon he's obviously smarter than your average person if he's managed to go from being an absolute nobody to being a worldwide phenomenon in such a small time and move to LA and conquer this really difficult, you know, big city and just nail it. You know, he's probably slightly above average in many ways, and so probably financially he quite plausibly is like buying sensible things. I'm sure at minimum, I mean, sure he does say in a lot of his songs that his $100,000 on the table, top set, half price my whip, same price my watch. So that means he's got a $200,000 car and a $100,000 watch. Now, sure, okay, maybe that's not good investments, but I'm sure he owns several properties.
I'm sure he has several business ventures.
Yeah,
and has invested in Bitcoin.
He might have.
Yeah. Well, Post Malone. To be honest, I think it's total fucking fluke. Like, I think that what is true is that he's talented. And the right set of circumstances led him to be discovered, his talent to be discovered. And, you know, he is doing the types of songs that are, again, very popular in this era, which is super hooky, super catchy, super, like that one that you just said. It's like it cannot not get stuck in your head. It's like a little nursery rhyme. And, you know, it's the same with that other one that's super popular of his, that one that you listen to all the time.
Rockstar?
The one about his breakup.
Right. Yeah.
Do you remember? You know the one I'm talking about, right?
Well, he's got a few, but yeah.
Shit, how does it go? It's anyway.
It can't. It's so catchy. You can't not get stuck in your head. Shit, how does it go again?
It'll come to me.
Sweet.
But yeah, I just think that, like, you know, some people, they just get lucky.
Yeah.
And, you know, he was talented enough that when that break happened, he made the most of it.
Yep.
Whereas when our break happened, didn't really.
Well, do you mean was our break I Survived the Zombie Holocaust?
You would say that was probably our break, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was, yeah. Probably was the biggest break we've ever had. Did we capitalize it on to the best of our abilities? Honestly, the answer is yes.
Yeah, we did.
The problem was,
yes, I agree.
The problem was our abilities were lacking. You know, we did our best. Our best just wasn't really good enough. You know.
Well, yeah, our best abilities were limited, also by our circumstances.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like, you know, it wasn't like a real case of like, hey, make it like. We're getting called up by everyone. They want to make our movie now because of the zombie film. That never happened.
No.
That did not happen. But, you know, just on a side note to that, our good friend, can't remember his name, but the guy who directed Deathgasm, Jason someone.
Okay.
I believe is currently shooting Guns Akimbo with Harry Potter.
Oh, yep. I did hear about that.
Believe he's directing that, and he wrote that, and that's filming now here in Auckland.
Yeah.
And that was the other zombie film that came out at the same time as I Survived Zombie Holocaust. So
it did a lot better.
It swings and roundabouts, it swings and roundabouts.
Yeah. Did do a lot better, didn't it?
Well, it's more the trajectory of yes, it did do way better. I really sincerely believe he actually got money back on that, because it was number one in iTunes in America,
right?
Which is no small thing. No. So I do think that he made some money on that, but also it's more just where did it lead? It led to a big budget movie with Harry frickin' Potter. And that's really what it's not so much, yes, it's good, whatever the thing is, but it's does it lead to anything?
Okay. But to be fair,
Deathgasm was better. Is that what
you
you're about to say?
No.
Don't you dare! Don't you dare say that!
No, what I was going to say is, you making I Survived a Zombie Holocaust, okay, sure, it's not fucking Boobs Akimbo or whatever this movie's called.
Guns Akimbo.
Yeah, but you do have a project upcoming.
Sure do.
Almost as exciting.
Sure do. Almost as high profile.
We had a meeting yesterday. We've done the
that one.
We've done the pre-production. We've sort of done the first bits of the pre-production to the point where we can now set approximate, rough, and tentative dates for the shoot for our next web series, Emme the Vegan. And we haven't locked it in yet, but probably sometime in June is probably what is when we're gonna be filming.
June.
Yeah.
In my head,
What? You thought it was July?
Well, to me, in my head, it started off as June.
Yeah.
In this meeting that we had yesterday.
Yeah, and then became.
And then you're like, actually, no, maybe we're looking at July here because there was some date that conflicted.
Yeah.
In June when we wanted to start, and so I thought I shifted my calendar to July, and I was like, "Sweet, bro,
Sweet, cool,
heaps of time."
Well,
that did not happen apparently.
No, I mean currently the dates we've set are for June, towards the end of June. However, let's see, because the fact of the matter is there's a lot of work to be done before we can shoot this thing, and if we want to be able to prepare it well without having to compromise too much, sometimes that takes time, So yes, but anyway, Immi the Vegan is our next web series. We've shot a proof of concept, and now we did a crowdfunding campaign, and we raised not very much money, under $10,000, quite a bit under $10,000, to shoot this web series. But we are confident that we have the ability to do it, and so yeah, that's our next big exciting project.
Yeah, and I think for me, I co-wrote the scripts with Immi, and I think these could be the funniest scripts I've written. That, or I'm not really funny anymore.
Well, I think they're funny, and I'm quite critical of you. No, I'm quite, I'm quite. I feel like I'm quite hard to please with comedy, but.
Some bloody good stuff in there.
But there is some good stuff in there, so I'm quite excited about that. So if you guys want to see the proof of concept episode, I'll post that on the Guy and Harley Facebook page, facebook.com/GuyandHarley. Now we are live streaming this as last week, and as is going to be the norm from now on, we're live streaming it. So if you're listening on the podcast later and you're wondering, you can go along to Twitch and search for Pigville, and you'll be able to watch this live. And I'd like to shout out to Web Sam from the Chris and Sam podcast, who I believe is watching right now. What up, my bro? What up? Yeah, so speaking of filmmaking, and speaking of Emme the Vegan, you shouldn't have badmouthed the extras the other week, Guy, because
got a message from one of them.
No, just because we're going to need hundreds of them soon
Right.
for Emme the Vegan. It turns out there's quite a few big scenes in Emme the Vegan, but in our defence, I was talking to an actor friend of mine who was also a 5150 listener. And I'm just going to make up a name. I'm going to keep her anonymous. Let's just say her name was Sam. And she mentioned randomly and out of the blue, I was at a party, and she just happened to mention the underlying level of lunacy in the extras community. Yeah. So look, we're not just making it up. There's a certain, it's like religion. the mentally ill are attracted to it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the mentally ill are attracted to filmmaking.
Yeah, you got it.
100%. Yeah, no, totally.
Sometimes I feel like our apologies.
We backtracked on that there.
We always just
Backtracked on that.
They always just dig us a little bit deeper. Those apologies.
But no, well, look, let's quickly go on to say that our extras that we have on our films are wonderful. Wonderful people. Lovely, giving from the kindness of their hearts and helping to make our dreams reality.
Yep.
So, we're just talking about extras that we've bumped into along the way.
Yeah, other extras. Now, while we're on the filmmaking topic, I finished Altered Carbon, the show that I mentioned the other week. I've finished it now, so that's good. It was pretty good. Now, I don't know if I mentioned, but I am logged in. I've been using Netflix on an ex-Tinder date's Netflix account that she left logged in. Yeah. Is that bad?
Yes.
Is that a bad
Yes,
thing?
it's terrible. You're essentially stealing from her.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, it's got...
You're actually stealing money from her in a way.
It's not costing you money, but, I mean, it gets worse because now that I've finished Altered Carbon, I've started a new series. Yeah. It's called Einsatzgruppen, the Nazi Death Squads.
Yeah.
It's a very tough watching. It's a documentary about the death squads of the Nazis and the Einsatzgruppen, and she's gonna get a bit of a shock when she sees that pop up in her watched videos, and it goes, so recommended for you, concentration camp stuff because you watched Einsatzgruppen, the Nazi death squads.
Yeah.
She's gonna. Yeah.
She's also gonna think you're fucking weird.
She's gonna think I'm a fucking Nazi. Fucking racist psycho.
Yeah.
Because she'll be like, why is he watching all this Nazi death stuff?
Yeah.
Look, guys, I'm just interested in history, all right?
I didn't write a joke actually about this because I'm writing the sequel to the project.
Now, this is exciting news. The project is one of our old web series, and it's fucking great. I really love it. And now we're talking about doing a season 2, and guys started writing it, and I haven't read it yet, but I'm very excited.
So basically, the basic premise is that
we play stupider, uglier versions of ourselves.
Yeah, we shot a TV series. We shot a pilot for a TV series 10 years ago. It was actually more than 10 years ago, but that's by the by. Where we thought we were going to be these big TV stars, we were going to star in this TV show, and it was going to be amazing, which truly did happen in real life. We thought all those things. We did that thing.
Yeah. All that stuff happened.
All of that happened. They made a pilot episode of it, which we have talked about in previous podcasts many moons ago. It was terrible. It was embarrassing. Our careers did not go anywhere.
No.
And it was really a very negative experience.
Arguably, that was our very first big break.
That was our first big break that we didn't capitalize on. 100%. And again, we really tried our best.
Yep.
But circumstances out of our control. You're going to hear about that a lot.
Yeah.
About our big breaks.
Well,
circumstances out of our control prevented us from succeeding when we had our opportunity.
Yeah. Well, we were 23, and we got flown up to Auckland to shoot a pilot episode for a show that Guy had written that we were starring in, and it was our big break. Paid for by a big production company,
directed,
a big well-known production
directed
company.
by renowned director Michael Hurst.
Michael
freaking Hurst, director of such TV shows as Evil Dead,
Hercules,
Spartacus, and Hercules. Xena.
He also played Aeolus in Hercules next to Kevin Sorbo. That's right, the Kevin Sorbo.
Again, Michael Hurst,
the evangelical Christian guy.
Michael Hurst is probably more well known in New Zealand than Kevin Sorbo.
Well, maybe in New Zealand.
Yeah. But anyway, so we thought we were like, hey, award-winning director Michael Hurst, produced by top-notch production company.
Really? I don't know if we should say it.
Okay. Well, I'm pretty sure we mentioned it in the podcast. Yeah. Go back in the archives. But we were like, we can't, with the producer that produced this amazing award-winning film, we can't lose. But the thing is, what I think we sort of didn't realize at the time is this was a weird, shitty experiment for them. They were these guys have made this thing, and it's kind of funny. And there's this new low budget web series. Web series didn't exist back then in New Zealand, because we're 10 years behind everything. But there's this new budget strand through TVNZ or New Zealand on Air. Sorry, so there's a new budget strand, and it's specifically for low budget comedies, and it was only around for a couple of years. But obviously, whenever one of these things comes up, you're going to get a whole bunch of applications. And so this production company was like, these guys have just done this, so we'll just make one of these, But it wasn't like, I don't really think it came from a deep place of love or appreciation.
Passion for the project.
Of our comedic genius. Not at all. I purely think it was, a time when this thing that we happened to be doing at that time was something that they felt they could get some money for. And also know that they don't have to pay us very much and that it's going to be very easy to do, because we'll just be like, yeah, sounds great. Yeah. A couple $100 a day sounds great. Yeah, that's normal, right?
We didn't even get it. I didn't get a couple $100 a day for the shoot.
No, but what I'm saying is, like, had we actually...
Yeah. Well,
gone
look,
to production.
I rewatched that not very long ago.
Boy.
Like, I actually just a little while ago, because I was like, you know what? I should upload that old project. It'll be funny. I've got it digitally. Why not upload? So this is like the pilot show that was shot for us in Auckland, the actual final one.
Yeah.
And we're probably not really supposed to upload it, but I was like, fuck, nobody's going to notice. It's from 10 years ago. Nobody gives a shit, so I could probably just upload it just for the Pigville viewers. And I rewatched it, and I was like, you know what? I cannot... In good conscience, like, put this on the internet. This is just going to hurt. This is going to hurt my career.
Yeah.
Like, it's that bad. It's so shit. And it's like, the jokes don't really work. The acting is terrible. It's got like these like STD sort of jokes, which seemed really funny to me at the time.
You thought they were brilliant.
I thought they were brilliant. Genius stuff.
You thought they were the greatest thing that would ever
But when I rewatch it, I'm like, fuck, this is cringy. This is real cringy. And so I ended up not uploading it. That's how bad it is. And I'm the guy from the internet, the topless guy from the internet with no shame.
You're the crazy masturbating hairy man on the
internet. No, I'm the star of such YouTube viral videos as Not Wanking
and gay Lord of the Rings Hobbit parody.
Yeah, exactly. And yet here I am, not willing to upload this thing. So yeah, so we skipped that.
But I guess I got a bit sidetracked there. So we made a web series about us making that.
Yeah. Called The Project,
which kind of made fun of
it parodied real life
of that experience, and then
and our parody was more successful and way funnier than the original show that they shot.
And also, we pitched that as a companion piece.
Yeah,
that we would film ourselves as we filmed the show. We're like, hey, you just get this bonus content, and people would be like, what's this weird show they're trying to make? And people would tune in. Like, it was a genius piece of marketing. Had it ever gone to that point.
It was before its time.
Yeah,
the idea of doing a web series about the making
about the making
of a web series or of a show,
a TV show.
Yeah, like, that was way ahead of its time at the time.
And so anyway, we did that. We filmed a web series. It was quite good. The TV series was not. It was a cathartic experience making the web series, because we needed to make peace, or I did, with this horrible abomination that had sort of befallen us. Because I just remember watching the initial pilot and like pretty much emailing them or calling them straight away and just being like, look, hey, don't send this out. Just whatever you do, can you just let me, just please, like, I'll do it for free. I don't care. Just let me edit the raw footage. Just let me put together and just see. And you can look at them both side by side. It's cool. Look at them both side by side. Hey, just give it 1 second. Just think it through. Okay, just don't be hasty. Don't be hasty. We've already said it to everyone.
Yeah, we've already sent it.
This is the wrong friggin' format. It's like 16:9 and it's cropped to like 4:3 or something.
Yeah,
it's
so
not
we're
even,
all like
it's
tall
like
and skinny.
squeezed.
Yeah.
I just anything. Just give us 1 day. Just 1 day. That's all I need. I'll just edit it all. Anyway, so that happened. So anyway, Harley has been on it. Harley's been on my ass. Harley's been riding my ass.
Riding his ass.
For years.
Yeah.
About like, hey, we should...
Day in and day out.
We should do a follow-up to the project. And I was like, nah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know about that. And then somewhere along the line, it kind of tweaked to me in my head. I was like, well, it has actually been like a decade. And we are actually up to fuck all. And that's kind of a funny place to pick up.
Yeah.
It's kind of a funny
It's a funny
place.
continuation.
It's a funny
because
like, and I guess I love. I'm obsessed with time passing, moments in time. Obviously, filmmaker. So within that obsession, like the idea that you can go back to something, like very few people, like this is before sunrise, before sunset, where they sort of picked up, this couple 10 years later. That's what we're doing. We're picking up this couple 10 years later. What have they been doing? What's happened?
that might be quite a funny way to cut a trailer. Cut it like before sunset or before sunrise.
Because you can really see us as young people doing shit, which we have
All
documented footage of. Hopefully, we at least have the edited footage. And then you have us now, and there's a lot of humor in that.
Yeah, so what I'll do is I'll share that the project playlist on facebook.com/Guy and Harley, and you can go watch it and check it out and keep an eye on what will probably be our next web series. So Emme the Vegan next, then probably the project, and then who knows.
But the joke I said in that is that I think it's like Harley's so obsessed with World War II trivia that if he saw Hitler, he'd probably come all over him.
All right. All right. I'm not sexually aroused by...
I know, but you love World War II so much.
Yeah.
You just probably
just come all over him.
Yeah, if you saw him in real life.
I just bukkake Hitler.
Yes, that's right. That's what you would do.
Yeah.
If you saw him in the flesh because you love World War II so much.
Right.
And of all you can imagine all the great questions you could ask him, it would just be too much for you, and you just, oh God. Oh, sorry, Hitler.
just ejaculating.
I just really love your work.
I don't love his work, for the record. I don't love his work. Although I would ask him how one man from a middle to lower class normal family,
an artist, a struggling artist,
how a struggling artist from just a normal middle class family, how he managed to not only become one of the most powerful men in the world, but also to convince people to fight and die for him right up when the Russians were taking the Reichstag in Berlin, right? Berlin is overrun and he's in his bunker.
Oh, boy.
He's in his bunker behind the Reichstag, right? And people are still fighting and dying for him out the front. The war's been obviously lost for 2 years now, and yet somehow this person had such sway and such authority and such control over a population that he managed to convince people to keep dying for him when all was very, very clearly lost.
Well, that's that.
And I do wonder.
That's easy.
No, it's not, because normally a government will collapse before it reaches that stage. So,
I mean, when you're invested in something for 6 years, right? I know all this. When you're invested in something for 5-6 years, Harley, you don't want to just give up on it.
Yeah.
You don't want to just see it die.
But you don't want to die for it.
Well, that's the thing, though. I think that's delusion and denial. Because the whole way Germany was going right from the beginning of his sort of leadership was delusion and denial. All these horrible things we're doing, all these atrocities being committed, all this Jew hating, it's for the best, right, guys? It's for the best, right? It's all for the best. Yes, it's all for the best. Well, we're not really losing. Yes, we're about to fight back. We're gonna take back. That's the very next step of this. I'm just saying
it requires a lot of control power to keep that illusion alive when the whole country's been overrun.
But also, what's the alternative? Because I'm sure a lot of them thought they're okay, cool. If I defect to get shot in the head, great. Well, that's I guess I better keep fighting then.
Yeah, that's the thing.
it's it's a series of circumstances, isn't it? It's a series of circumstances at the exact right time that leads from step to step to a sort of a madman getting to that level, and not revealing too soon that he's a madman, and not sort of, and then having that right sort of people around him too, I guess, that kind of then just push all these crazy ideas forward.
Well, I'd ask him about all of that.
Crazy time.
In between ejaculating on his face,
Yeah.
I would also ask him about how he managed to control all those people.
Oh,
for
you'd
so
have
long.
some lovely chats.
Yeah.
You'd have some wonderful chats.
Yeah. Now, I don't give a shit about that new Marvel movie that everyone's wanking about.
But I've seen it.
You've seen it?
And I could give you a little mini review now.
Okay.
So for anyone that hasn't seen it yet, turn off.
Is this so what's it called?
Avengers
Wars.
Avengers Infinity War.
Oh, yep. Infinity War.
Because they're going to make an infinite amount of films about the superheroes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's where they got the name from.
Well, so is it too soon? Are we going to scare some of our listeners off?
Well, I'll give a pretty non-spoilerific review.
Yeah, because it seems a bit soon.
But everyone's gone to see it.
Not me.
Because it's the culmination of a decade of stories and all this stuff. I went into it, I was like, look, this whole superhero fatigue. I say, I wish more people were getting superhero fatigue. I wish it just wasn't just me. But I do have superhero fatigue. And it's not like, now I'm more like, yeah, I'm looking forward to specific superhero movies. I love Logan. Logan is probably the best, just one that's come out recently, but just one of the best overall, because it was different, it was adult, and it was interesting, and like they really didn't even really have to be a superhero film. That's what made it work, and also may have inspired the entire genesis of the wrestler Alex Savage. But that was very good. Deadpool was very good. Again, it was different, it was funny, breaking the fourth wall, taking the piss out of superhero films while being a superhero film. Lots of good, edgy R-rated jokes, which you'd just never seen in superhero films, so that makes it interesting and good. But yeah, like, there's just so many now that you're just kind of like, well, how many times are you going to save the world? How many aliens are you going to beat up? And there was more saving the world and beating up aliens in this one. And the stuff that I didn't really enjoy was that. Like, the big action spectacle of, like, fighting, hundreds of meaningless aliens. You kind of like, yeah, okay, like, I really, like, this was super cool 10 years ago to see fight all those aliens, because you'd never really seen that. But now, you've seen it so many times that you're just switching off to the alien fighting. And I thought, so I came in with pretty low expectations because I had superhero fatigue, because I didn't really see how they were going to get all these characters together and not start asking questions of, why doesn't this superhero just use this superpower they have? I just thought that was going to be so regular. But, the good thing about this one is they created a villain, which one has a pretty reasonable perspective on life, and has like a motivation for his actions. He's not just some crazy guy, I'm going to take over the world. He doesn't even care about taking over the world. He's not about that life. He's not about that world taking over life. He's not about taking over anything. He's about restoring balance to the universe in a way which, while incredibly drastic and horrible, you kind of like, well, yeah, I mean, you get why he might try that, especially if you had the background he did. So, and the fact that he's more powerful than all these superheroes is good, because it means that, they have to team up. That's the whole point, right? So it was definitely a lot better than I thought it was. There was definitely still some moments of like, why are we effing around with all this shit? It's just to occupy these superheroes from the main, that we're taken away from the main story because we need to put in all these superheroes. However, I think that they did do ultimately as good a job as they possibly could have, with bringing them all together and doing it in a satisfying and interesting way, where the stakes were high and everyone was sort of had a pretty decent story. So hats off to Marvel. If you're on the fence, definitely worth a watch.
Well, I'm not on the fence.
You're off the fence.
I'm completely
You're
off
way
the
the fuck
fence.
over it.
I'm several houses along from the fence.
You're at the house down the end of the street, the
Yeah.
run-down, shabby one.
I'm sitting
And
in.
nobody wants to. This old man Harley.
Yeah.
See that? This old man Harley. Get off my lawn.
Yeah.
Superhero movies.
Yeah, no, I'm not watching this. I'm inside, several houses away, watching Einsatzgruppen, the Nazi death squads. And here's what I think. I think that I don't want to see CGI heroes shooting CGI fireballs out of their CGI asses, and without fail, all of these films, they're just always terrible. Every single time I bother to watch one, I'm always like, fuck, I wish this was finished. And it's the same story. It's just the same story told again and again, and it always goes like this. It goes, normal guy, best frenemy. Meet girl, special powers. Evil plan, endangered loved ones. Hero's secret weakness revealed. Showdown. 46 minutes of buildings blowing up. Barely survive. Get girls. Credits. Then, I'm at the movies. I need a piss, but I've got to wait for the extra scene at the end of the credits, which is, for all intents and purposes, a commercial designed to get me to watch the next shitty movie. So, never again.
I mean, that does kind of sum up superhero movies from 10 years ago when you stopped watching them.
When I stopped watching them.
As opposed to any of the current ones that you
Yeah.
ever watch. But,
Yeah.
that's fair enough.
Yeah.
Shit, I had another point about that, but oh well.
Harking back to that idea that we kind of just miss out with our career. We always just kind of miss out.
Yeah.
And that's our theme, We've always had this. Used to call it Pigville Close But No Cigar.
Which I fucking hated.
You hated that?
I hated that term.
Why?
I was like, fuck, that's bullshit. Fuck, that's a load of shit. But anyway.
Well, I always pretty much believed it, because I was always just things like, like we'd get the pilot and then we were close and it seemed like we were on our big break and then it would fall through. Or we'd started YouTube and one of our videos started going viral and we got our big break and then it got flagged as inappropriate and, we didn't go viral.
It got flagged as inappropriate. God, I hate it when that happens.
So, but anyway, I was sort of thinking this Close But No Cigar thing is definitely the theme of our career, and one of the things I was thinking about is the greater sort of scale of it, and not just small time, like little one-off projects that we've Close But No Cigar, like the actual whole career. We could be fucked because we're millennials and yet only just... Like we are like 1 year, by 1 year we're considered millennials type thing. And so we're at a huge disadvantage in our filmmaking, so compared to current millennials. So for example, our first film was analog. And so nobody had a cell phone with a camera on it back in those days. We didn't have editing programs like on our phones, and we didn't have any editing programs, right? And even the internet kind of existed, but it wasn't what it is today.
No.
Like we couldn't jump online and just Google the settings of our camera and get a step-by-step walkthrough on YouTube. That didn't exist, and we had to figure it out ourselves, or you had to figure it out yourself, and then that's why our first film, technically speaking, completely sucks compared to anything a 16-year-old might make today.
Yes.
So we spent the first 10 years of our career learning all of this shit and waiting for technology to catch up. Then technology caught up, and now these kids pick up a phone and they start out way ahead of us. So, and also they're inherently internet and social media savvy. And it's taken me a decade to figure this shit out, but they were born into it. Like Bane, like that quote from Bane.
Yeah, what is that quote?
It's something along the lines of like, you merely adopted the darkness. I was born into it.
I was born into it.
Yeah, so we merely adopted the internet. They were born into it.
It's true.
Yeah,
True.
So we are inherently at a disadvantage, sadly.
Yeah, I agree with that. Speaking of fucking millennials, God, open up the Uber files for a second.
Okay.
So this is a real huge pet peeve. We did touch on this with a bitchy Uber passenger a while back.
That one-starred you.
So I had a bitchy Uber guy. So this time, I picked up this guy from the bottom of Grey Lynn.
Mm-hmm.
He was wanting to go halfway up the hill. Right? This is, I'd say a good 6-minute walk.
Yeah.
Real tough one.
Yeah.
Real tough 6-minute. Minimum Uber fare
Yeah.
for me. Total waste of time.
Yeah.
It's around 2 a.m., so it's actually when I could be making good money.
Yeah.
And then he goes, oh, actually, you mind if we stop off at McDonald's? And I was like, actually, if it's real busy at McDonald's, I'll just have to drop you off there, mate. Honestly, this place is fucking 2 minutes from his house.
Yeah.
Okay? The McDonald's is 2 minutes from his motherfucking house. But anyway, that's by the by. I'm making $4 on this trip.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, like, you know, started to get put out. I was like, look, sorry, mate, but like, I explained to him, I was like, sorry, mate, but if I have to stay in the drive-through for 20 minutes, like, I don't really make any extra money. You know, I just still get paid like, you know, maybe $6 instead of $4, but you know, that really doesn't. This is my peak driving time. And he was like, yeah, no worries. So we got there. It was a fucking huge fucking queue. Like fucking people stacked out there. They were literally falling out of McDonald's with so many people. Cars backed all the way up the road. And I was like, yeah, sorry, mate. I can either drop you home or I got to drop you here. But I can't go through the drive-thru at this time because it's just like, you know. I mean, yeah, look, if you're going to fucking Walkworth, then sure, I'll stop for 20 fucking minutes because I know that at least this ride has some value to me, you know? Like, but it's too much of a money-losing proposition. And he was like, oh, well, you know, I thought, you know, Uber's meant to, you know, like, it's not a very good look for Uber. And I was like, well, look, you know, he's like, I'm paying Uber. And I go, well, no, actually, you're paying me directly. I make commission off this ride, right? And he was like, oh, well, I'm just saying it's not very good for your customers. And I was like, well, I'm just saying that your $4 ride doesn't really mean anything to me. And expecting me to wait half an hour in a queue for you when I don't make any money is not very good. And he was like, oh, well, look, I'm saying, at least you could drop me off closer. I dropped him off outside the fucking McDonald's. Like, I'm literally talking, I'm parked outside McDonald's. That's where I dropped him off. He obviously wanted me to drop him off inside the car park of McDonald's, which is maybe 2 meters closer, 3 meters closer. It's a 3-meter walk that he's having to do extra. And that's what he doubled up on his complaints on. This is fucking millennial shit right here. It's this fucking entitlement. Like, oh yeah, fuck that guy. He's got to wait half an hour.
Was he a fat guy?
No, he was this skinny, like, you know, 19, 20-year-old.
Well, why can't he walk 3 meters?
He can walk 3 meters. But, you know, like, it's just, like, the fact that he just bitched about it and just didn't get this concept of, like, you know, it's like, I order you anywhere, so you do what I say. Regardless of the circumstances and outcome for yourself. Like, that to me, like, if anyone had explained to me, like, hey, man, look, I'm sorry, I can't stop, like, but I can take, and he's like, aren't you meant to take me to my destination? And I go, yes, I can take you to your house. I can take you to McDonald's. Whatever your destination is, I can take you there. I just can't sit in a queue for half an hour. That's not part of your destination. That's part of fucking nothing. This is like an added Uber bonus that you wouldn't do if you're in a taxi because you know you'd be paying it out the ass for it. Whew.
It's getting riled up.
Whew.
It's getting riled up, people.
So anyway, I 1-star motherfucking him, and I'm sure he 1-star motherfucking me.
Yeah.
But I'm not worried. It's just that classic millennial sense of entitlement, which...
But there's so many dickheads that are not millennials that would do similar annoying
But I'm
shit.
blaming it on his millennial youth.
Right.
Okay? Because I feel like if he was 10 years old, he would go, no worries, mate.
I get it.
See you later.
Yeah.
But he wasn't, because
No.
he's a fucking entitled millennial. Fuck him.
All right, cool. Well, I've got an Uber file as well, actually. Now, another friend of mine, Josh, he's an Uber driver, and he overheard 2 of his passengers talking about how their friend thought the Uber driver was hot on a previous ride, and that friend gave her number to the hot Uber driver, and that hot Uber driver's name was Guy, and he was European. And then he texted her a few days later, but she did not reply. Does that remind you of a story from quite a lot of months back?
Yes, it does remind me of a story.
So still the talk of the town.
Yes.
The only hot European Uber driver. Everyone's talking about him.
Doing the rounds. That's hilarious. Well, she should have texted me back, shouldn't she?
Well,
Really?
she probably should have, yeah.
Because now I'm off the market, so too bad for you.
So, too bad. You missed out on that Uber driver.
You missed out on that sweet Ubering driver.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I do. I mean, I do have another story about someone else hitting on me in the Uber car recently. First off, they were like, "Oh man, you got a great voice.
Boy, you've got a great mullet.
You got a great voice." Oh, they got to that.
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh, you got a great voice. You got like a porno voice on the phone." And I was like, "Hey, okay, like that's funny."
And who was this person?
She was a attractive.
That's a good start.
Very attractive African American woman.
Okay.
And I was like, "Oh, cool. Well, didn't really have anything to say to that."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Cool." And she was like, "Wow." She's like, the other guy, because there's two. This is the thing. She was hitting on me with another guy in the car who was just a friend. And it was like, man, you look like Wolverine. And she's like, "Nah, you look more like Sabretooth, actually." She's getting a kick off Sabretooth.
Yeah.
She's liking Sabretooth. And I was like,
Now, Sabretooth is
Wolverine's
Wolverine's
brother.
nemesis.
His brother.
Ah, but it's his nemesis too. It's
Yeah,
that
his
guy.
nemesis. Yeah.
And it's from the trailer. He goes, "You don't even know how to kill me." And then Wolverine goes, "I'ma cut off your head.
See if that works." You go, "I would cut off your head, but this is a PG movie, so I won't, but I will talk about it.
Yeah.
See if that works."
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I don't cut anyone's head off, ever.
No.
Even though that's what I'd be doing all the fucking time.
He would just be dismembering people all the time with those claws.
100%. And that's what's good about Logan. You see plenty of that.
Right.
But then she was like, "Oh, you've got amazing hair. Can I touch your hair?"
Yeah.
And I was like, she was in the back. I was like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
You want to touch the mullet? All
Yeah,
right.
okay.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, like the touch wasn't like a, "Oh, cool, he's got a mullet."
Yeah.
It was like a sensual stroking
Yeah.
of my hair
Yeah.
that just really just went on.
I think your hair looks like
Shit.
permanently dirty,
Yeah.
with the product you put in. So I wouldn't like to touch that. It's
Yeah.
not like a fluffy. If you just washed it and conditioned it and it was all like fluffy, I could see why she might want to touch it.
Well, yeah, I hadn't, and she was touching it, but like I said, this was not a, this wasn't like a just, "Hey, I'm touching you here," like hey, you got a mullet.
She gave you a head job.
She was literally stroking the fuck out of my hair.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Whoa, okay." I was like, "Okay, well, look, I'm trying to drive now, right? So let's see." Because I did mention quickly, "Hey, I actually got a girlfriend." And she's like, "Oh, yeah." She's like, "Cool, no, thank you for letting me do that." I was like, "Ew." And then she's like, "Oh, man, what is it with guys, man? They're such dicks. Like, why are all guys penises?" And I was like, "Well, depends who you meet, really." And she's like, "Yeah, but you guys are all fucked up. You always, she's like, "That's why I'm bisexual." And she's like, "But don't get me wrong, chicks are all fucked up as well." And I was like, "Yeah, chicks are crazy. Yeah, chicks are fucking crazy, man." So, and she's like, "Yeah, actually, they're as bad, but she's like, yeah." And then she was and then she was like, "Yeah, can you just come home with me?" And I was like, "Oh no!"
And you're like, "But what about your mate there?" And he was just like,
he
was just jerking off beside her.
He was
in the back seat.
He was in hysterics. He was laughing. He was like, she was like, "Do you want to just come home with her?" I was like, "No, sorry, I've got a
girlfriend, but I do have a friend, Harley.
But I can
if you would like,
direct you to someone.
We could swing by his place, pick him up, and I could drop you both off if you'd like at your place. That's what you said, right?
No, I didn't. I said, "No, I've got a girlfriend, sorry." And then she's like, "Oh, no, that's cool. You just really remind me of someone, that's all." And I was like, cool. Here we are.
But she was hot.
Oh, yeah. Super hot.
Man, being an Uber driver. It's the way, it's the...
And the guy in the
job.
front, he's like, "Man, you must get so many chicks being an Uber driver.
You must get so much pussy being an Uber driver."
And I was like, you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. And so, yeah, but it was all very... And then I'm pretty sure she was like, yeah, but... I think she also was like, yeah, oh, well, look, we could just go home. Like,
Have a quickie.
It was like, we could go back to my place and just masturbate and spoon together. And I was like, yeah, no, I can't do that, sorry.
Yeah.
But, see you later. 5 stars, please.
Yeah. But maybe next time? Maybe in the future, if my circumstances change.
If my circumstances change. So, that was quite an alarming Uber ride. That was pretty shocking to me because there's, sometimes there's some flirting or some shenanigans, but there's people not normally quite that forward.
Right. Well, you're going to have to go soon.
I am.
So we better quickly get...
I've got 12 minutes.
So we better quickly get into
12
some
minutes, kid.
listener feedback. Because we've got quite a lot of listener feedback this week.
Okay.
It's good stuff too. So we'll start with... let's start with some anonymous stuff. So we got one here. This is a nice one. It says, "Hi, Guy/Harley. I'm one of the new listeners, and I should say that this is hilarious. I just need to laugh my heart out after a long day at work.
That's what you need.
And this podcast is remedy for a quick laugh right now.
Yeah.
Wish it could just be a little more frequent. Thank you for making me a happier person." So that's nice.
Hey, thanks, Anonymous. I really like that. Look, I think we will try and make it more frequent. We're working on that. If you can, look, I'm just looking at this camera. I look like fucking shit.
Yeah.
I look so fucking tired.
Yeah, on the live stream, yeah.
Awful. I've only just gotten up, and I'm doing some crazy hours at the moment. Just some crazy hours, which I'm hoping to reduce, which means that I will be able to get back into the podcast. So, but that's the reason is purely... I'm really trying to... So I've got to earn some money. I've got a big hip operation coming up.
A hip operation.
And I've got to essentially kind of set aside this bunch of money to pay for me while I'm in agony on crutches for 6 weeks, So I've got to make that money and just put it aside and not spend it all. It's going to be really hard because that's not what I do. I spend all my money. That's how I live. That's how I live my life.
The same anonymous listener has been going through the Pigville back catalogue lately.
There's a lot of good stuff in there.
There is, and has concluded that Harley masturbates a lot. This was based
That's
off...
a fair assessment.
This was based off the episode Vagina in a Can.
Yeah.
Which she thoroughly enjoyed. But she did conclude that Harley masturbates a lot.
Probably too much.
Look.
For his own good.
I'll tell you guys that
for productivity speaking.
I'm just a
too much.
I'm a once a day kind of guy.
I feel like you intimated on that podcast.
Both are fine.
Intimated on that podcast was more than once a day.
Well, you may every now and then you do a morning and nighter if you can't get to sleep at night. But for the most part, I'm a once a day kind of guy, and I feel like 365 times a year is pretty reasonable. Right, Guy? Now, continuing, Anu says, "Congrats to Alex Sandwich on the on the Dunedin win."
Thank you.
So that's
appreciate
nice.
that.
Yep. And I also have and Anu also says, "Can you please mention that when Guy discusses his problems at work, some of us can really relate to it, and it makes us feel better to know that someone else is going through the same sort of issues. And it's nice to see that it's everywhere, and we all just have to deal with it." Cool. Relatable.
Cool, man. Thank you. I'm not sure if that's my Uber issues or my other work issues.
I think it's all of it.
But I will just quickly say, just on a quick side note to that I'm glad that it, you can relate and that you've sort of, going through these. I'm not glad you're going through these things as well, but I'm glad that it helps you go, fuck, I'm not the only person getting fucking shat on. But I will also say that, I'm working some of my jobs specifically because I'm a slack ass and I use it to do filmmaking at, which I 100% shouldn't be. But if I was just a good, honest worker and a good, hardworking person, which I have been at some other jobs.
Which I have been in the past.
Yeah. I would sort of... certainly consider moving on from where I am, and I think that you should just think carefully, just because I think that sometimes we as workers don't understand our value, and that, like, certainly one of the biggest lessons I ever learned about employment is, I worked at a video store where I got treated like shit for like a year and a half, and I got paid fuck all, and they gave me a raise and then took it back when they realized that I was young enough that they didn't have to pay me the minimum wage raise that they gave me. They took back a raise. I'd managed this store for them. I'd done everything for them. And I just stood, and that was the final straw, but I'd sort of been taking it up the ass for a long period of time. And I just thought that I didn't have a better option. I was like, well, who else is going to employ me? I'm not going to do any better. That'll just be another minimum wage job, I don't have any skills, and I immediately went to a better job. They treated me better. I got paid a lot more. My finances turned around. My life was a million times better. And I think that sometimes when you're in that position, it feels like, this is just the reality, and I just have to accept it. And I think that you shouldn't accept it. You've got to keep, and it doesn't mean you should quit tomorrow or anything like that, but it means that you should just keep looking for something better if you think you're worth more.
Yeah, just don't undermine your own worth.
Absolutely, because 9 times out of 10 you will move on to a better job and you will be treated better there. So definitely just keep that in the back of your mind and don't sort of settle. Just keep on moving upward, and it doesn't have to be this week or next week or this month, but just keep looking for that great job and moving the fuck out of there. No one should be treated like shit in the workplace.
Better living, everybody.
Better living.
Another piece of listener feedback goes like this. Now, this is a good one. This is from Bevan.
Bevan, good friend,
old friend of ours, long-time friend of ours.
Helped us out on many things. Thank you, Bevan.
Hi, Harley and Guy. Long-time listener, first-time caller. I've been very concerned that in recent podcasts, Harley has become hard-hearted, given his breakup and his devaluing of relationships in the Tinder files.
Oh, yeah.
The recent comment about not needing relationships and using Tinder to fulfill your baser needs seems particularly sad.
Yeah, buddy.
So I guess my question is, given Harley's quest for fame and the devaluing of relationships, will we see him on the next episode of Married at First Sight New Zealand?
Certainly don't rule it out, right?
Well, look, that's an excellent question, but I mean, Jesus, how deep do we want to go down that fucking rabbit hole? I mean, there's some deep psychological shit at the center of that question if you think about it. We've
only got 5 minutes.
We've only got 5 minutes. So look, would I go on that show? To be really honest, I draw the line at legally binding documents that, I don't even believe in marriage. Ooh. So I certainly don't believe in getting married on TV in front of everybody. And in New Zealand, it is an official... and it is in New Zealand, it is a real marriage.
Well, I will just say, just quick sidebar to that, it'll change your mind. Apparently for the next season, they're thinking of not making, the marriage, you're married, we're going to throw a wedding and shit, but we're not going to do the legally binding document because that takes 2 years to get out of, right. And everyone has gotten out of it.
Well, that's just a fucking farce then, isn't it? It shouldn't be called Married at First Sight. I mean, that's the whole point of the show.
Look, coupled at first sight.
Couple of going out on a date at first sight.
I get what you mean,
serious,
but it's a dumb concept to begin with, so
it is.
Why not? I think they want to broaden the horizon.
Yeah. Well,
and that would put you right in that category, mate. Look, you'll be doing it.
That would just be a dating show.
With bells on.
I'd fucking happily go on that then. I'd happily go on it if it wasn't for the legally binding thing.
You've got to still try and remain committed to this person for marriage.
Oh, yeah, but not really. It's all just a show. So if everyone gets out of it and it's not a legally binding thing, and sure, if it works out, great, cool, okay, excellent. But if it doesn't work out, not a big deal. You're not trapped in a bloody relationship.
Yeah.
All you've got is a whole bunch of publicity. You got yourself on primetime TV every day in people's homes once a night or whatever it is, a few times a week, and talked about in all the fucking magazines and stuff. And then after that show finishes airing, you can call up the various companies and go, hi, it's Harley Neville here. I just wanted to let you know I'm available for Celebrity Dancing with the Stars. Yes, Harley Neville from Married at First Sight. Yeah, Celebrity Dancing with the Stars, I'm ready. And you can kind of, or anytime you achieve anything, you can call up Women's Weekly and go, hi, it's Harley here from Married at First Sight. Yeah, I took a shit this morning and I just thought you guys might want to do a full page spread on it.
Expose.
Yeah. And so yeah, anyway, but to that anyway, Bevan, in short, I would say that yes, for me, love is dead. But I do, and I kind of stand by my original statement, which is essentially that, these apps have changed the landscape by making love and romantic connections more disposable. It used to be that if you met a person through a friend or a friend of a friend or whatever, that you had to pursue them and you had to get their contact details and ask them out on a date and all that type of stuff. Now it's all in your phone, and if you go out on a date and it's okay but not great, you don't really bother working on it. You're like, well, we had a good go, and you've got 5 other matches on your phone, and so does she, and so I'll just see you around. And I think that this effect is going to be felt much stronger for the generation that's going through their teens now.
Yeah.
With these apps, being totally normalized. So like in the olden days, some people got married purely so they could have sex. They literally got married in order to be able to have sex. That's what it used to be like in the old days, which is probably a little bit too far the other way. But anyway, the point is that now these relationships have become so single use and disposable. And and as mentioned, because you can fulfill your baser needs, there's just no need to invest in a long-term relationship. It's like that old saying, why buy the milk when you can just have sex with all the cows? You see, Bevan? So that's what I think about that.
Right. So do you conclude that love is dead?
Love's dead.
Love's dead. Your heart is hardened.
Yeah.
What was the other thing that he said?
Well,
it's just disturbing.
I'm just
I'm
particularly sad.
And you're a particularly sad and disturbing individual now.
Yeah.
And you agree to all of those things.
More or less.
Yeah, for the most part. Yes.
Yeah, more or less. Look, I'm not saying that that's going to be forever, that I'm going to always feel this way, but currently, for me, love is dead.
Well, look, I'll just quickly chime in and say, but you never know what's around the corner.
Yep, never know.
Guy Pigden, workaholic, love with his films, sleeps with his films, has no life, does nothing. Well, he's met someone, and he never thought that he would, and he never thought that he'd really...
But that's a load of shit, because you're constantly in relationships.
Yeah, but...
You've been in constant relationships for the last 4 years or something.
Well, I'll say
you
one.
You just flit from one to the other.
And
then it end it abruptly, and then move on to the next one.
One. That's not true, Harley.
Yeah.
There's big gaps between them all.
Then you badmouth her on the podcast for a little bit.
There's big gaps between them all. And also...
Big gaps.
Yeah, huge gaps.
A month or 2.
No, like half a year. A year.
It has not been a year. I've only lived here for a year. It's not been a year since your last one, the sponsor of this show.
Nah. Look, I'm not going to deny that my crazy ex-girlfriend... Oh, man, I saw my ex-girlfriend...
You saw your crazy ex-girlfriend?
I saw... Well, not my crazy... I saw my non-crazy ex-girlfriend now 4 times removed.
Yeah.
And she really didn't want to talk to me.
Really?
I really got a real vibe. So
Yeah.
we've talked about... Oh, God, I just got to quickly say this. So we've talked about her on the podcast. She was 3 times removed. Now she's 4 times removed because I'm happily in a relationship.
Yeah.
Having a wonderful time of my life. Contrary to what Harley says, this is not a regular thing for me. Sure, maybe go from a relationship. Well, no, there is definitely gaps in between. There hasn't been a gap in between, not this one, but the one before this one and the one before that one. That was a quick turnover, I think.
Mm-hmm.
However, fuck, what was I saying about relationships?
You saw your ex-girlfriend who doesn't want us to look at you.
So saw my ex-girlfriend, now 4 times removed, was 3 times removed earlier on the last few podcasts. She was only 3 times removed. So anyway, I complained about her blocking me on Facebook and Instagram. Of de-following me or de-friending me. I don't know if she blocked me.
You asked her about this. So you saw her and you were like...
No, I just...
you complained on the podcast.
I complained about it on the podcast, and I saw her.
Yeah, okay.
And I was like... And this, I did.
So this one's married now, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Bought a house.
Yeah.
Rich. Successful.
Yeah.
Very successful.
Cool. So you saw her?
Saw her at this premiere of Survivor. Where our old flatmate Dylan
is one of the cast
one
members.
of the contestants. He's living your dream, Harley.
Yeah.
Of being a reality show. Like, all this time you've been striving for this dream of being a reality TV show contestant on one of these shitty shows. And you've just been working so hard to get on one of these. And you've just been busting your fucking ass. And then our mate Dylan tweets a few things about Survivor. Next minute, He's fucking on it.
Okay, well, look, we'll finish your story because we need to talk about that.
You need to talk about it because I'm very upset. That should have been me on Survivor.
No, go.
So anyway, I saw her. Total fluke, totally random, out of the blue. Thought I may never see her again in my life because she defriended me and she de-Instagrammed me. And I saw her there and she's like, hey! You know, like that, hey! I don't really want to... Oh!
Yeah.
I've seen this person, I don't want to... Hey, is what she just said. But, you know, it's the back of the throat, hey?
Yeah.
Of the reluctance of the hey?
I don't really want to talk to you.
Of the oh, really never thought I was going to run into you.
Okay, so you saw this ex. What happened? Hey, what else happened?
And anyway, so we made small talk, and I was like genuinely really interested. I was like, cool, I see my old friend, you know, like my good friend that we were friends with before she defriended me, but let's forget about all that stuff because we were good, and we had cool conversations.
We got good memories together.
Yeah, we got great old memories together. She just really, the whole conversation, I just had this aura of disinterest but really, like, almost like, is he going to maybe bring up this defriending thing?
Mm.
Guy's the type of dick that would do that.
Yeah, he would.
Is he gonna hit me full in the face with the, hey, why do you do the old defriend? And I really wanted to. This was one of those Larry David moments.
Yeah.
Where Larry David would just go, hey, what was with the defriend and the de-follower and the de-everything?
Yeah.
You know, what was with that?
You used to be, you were always all about the D.
You know? And now you're on the
Friend.
de-friend.
Yeah.
And I was so close to Larry David in it.
Yeah.
But I maintained a level of professionalism. I was there for work.
Yeah. Couldn't be getting into fights with your ex.
And so I didn't. And also because she seemed so reluctant to talk to me anyway, I was like, oh, I feel sorry for her talking to me right now.
So I'm going to break this off.
So I'm going to not bring it up. I'm going to be a gentleman. I'm not going to bring up this thing that I brought up on the podcast many times because I'm a gentleman, right?
When she's around.
When she's around. I'm a gentleman when she's around. So anyway, then I was like, I was called away to do another job. Like, so I went and I shot another interview. And then I came back to sort of wrap up the conversation. I came back after 1 second. I don't even know if I opened my mouth. And I was like, ooh, like, you know, like I walked over, like it was that super, like David Brent in The Office when he walks over and he's like pulling his funny facials, like, what? We didn't say anything. Like that was me coming up to her. So I came back up to her and then she was like, well, I better go do some work now. And I was like, oh, yeah, cool.
Me too.
See ya. And then she literally walked off. Also, I don't think that she was there. This wasn't a work thing. There's no work to be done here. So she went and walked away just to stand away from me. Not working, not doing anything.
Like on The Simpsons. When
honestly.
She goes, I'm going to stand over here now.
It was so that. It was so totally that. And I was like, wow, all right, I get it. And then I just went about my business. But... it's just a shame, you know? It's just a shame to see it like, don't do me like that, girl. Don't do me like that. That's my story. Fuck, I got to go to work.
You got to go. You got to go. All right. Well, look, I guess next week then. Okay, look, here's what I'll quickly say about that Dylan Survivor thing.
Yeah.
All right. I am on a reality TV show in 3 weeks.
So
three Thursdays from now, I am going to be on First Dates New Zealand. It is going to be airing. The first 2 episodes are out, and I'm on the 5th episode. So it should be a few weeks from now. I'll keep everybody posted. But yeah, I will be on there. And on top of that, I never actually applied for Survivor. I knew Survivor was coming up, and I wanted to apply. I got rejected a couple of years ago for Survivor, but I wanted to apply for this one. But at the time, I was going through the breakup, and I just couldn't bring. My heart wasn't in it. You know,
your heart was too hardened.
My heart was too hardened, and I just couldn't. You got to make a video and video photos and all the rest of it. You know, hey, it's me, the Neds. Hey, I'm too full of fucking beans. Put me on your fucking show. So I didn't do any of that stuff. I just didn't apply. But yes, so good for you, Dylan. I say genuinely good for you, and I don't feel bad about it because I never applied.
It's way more high profile than your reality TV series.
Oh, absolutely. But I should have applied. Yeah. So that's what I'll say about that. And then to finish off the Tinder files, I will say that I do keep getting that buzz on my Bumble, if you know what I'm saying.
Whoa.
And also I'm triple apping triple tapping the apping scene. I'm now on Badu as well, which is
yeah, it's a
another
new
dating
one.
one.
Yeah.
Now, it's not new, it's old, and it's real shit. It's fucking shit, and I'm not going to keep using it. It's really crappy. But yeah, so if you've enjoyed the show, thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed the show, please hit follow and subscribe and like, and go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/Guy and Harley. And if you want to, there are links. We'll post links. You can go on Patreon and support us. Give us $1 a month by searching Pigville, and blah. So
and also, final shout out to all our listeners who've got a reluctant hey from someone recently.
Yeah.
Just shout out to all of those, the reluctant, oh fuck, I'm talking to you, hey. Shout out to all of them.
And also a very quick shout out to Eric Elick Music, who just donated to us on the live stream. You fucking legend.
Sure, brother.
Fucking legend.
All right, I've got to go.
You
I've got to go to work.
All right,
I'm getting out of here.
Guy's
I'm not
leaving.
to say goodbye.
And here's the outro.
All right, I will see you later.
All right.
You've been listening to the Guy and Harley podcast, proudly brought to you by Pigville Productions.
Laugh it up, fuzzball.